20th Century Fox presents Phantom of the Paradise, a gothic horror story.
What was that?
A beautiful love story.
Like a circus.
A cinematic odyssey through the rock universe. From Greece to glitter and beyond. The story of a sound, the man who created it, the girl who sang it, the monster who stole it, and the phantom who haunts the paradise, the ultimate rock palace. Phantom of the Paradise.
My music is for Phoenix. Only she can sing it. Anyone else that tries dies.
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Well, you told me one time that you'd be somebody, that you weren't working just to survive.
B.
Snow! Whoa, whoa, wow! Man, you better get yourself a castrato for this.
Paul Williams as Swan.
And the angels that defeated them.
I want you to stop terrorizing the paradise and rewrite your cantata.
And the Phantom.
Stop and try me, only you might satisfy me,
Phantom of the Paradise.
There really is the Phantom.
Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to another movie review. And this review is going to be on Phantom of the Paradise, which came out in 1974. And the film stars Paul Williams, William Finley, George Momoyo, I think that's how you pronounce his last name, Garrett Graham, and Jessica Harper. And the film was written and directed by Brian De Palma. Brian De Palma, he of course directed Scarface with Al Pacino, and also Blowout, which stars John Travolta, which I really enjoyed that film. And this film is a take on the Phantom of the Opera, but with rock and roll music being centered around it. And I just got done watching the film today, and I really liked it. I really enjoyed the film. I had fun with it. It's not that long of a film. It's only an hour and 31 minutes, so 91 minutes in total for the runtime. And the film is a rock musical comedy, and people say it's a horror film as well. Didn't see any horror aspects of the film, but basically what the film is about, it follows Winslow Leach, who is played by the late William Finley. Sadly he's no longer with us, and his character is this singer-songwriter who is heard by this acclaimed record producer named Swan, who is played by Paul Williams. And pretty much Paul Williams' character, Swan, is the main villain of the film because William Finley's character, Winslow, plays the set, and Paul Williams' character believes that Winslow's music is perfect to open his new concert hall called the Paradise. So Swan, Paul Williams' character's right-hand man, Arnold Philbin, who is played by George Momoyo, tries to steal Winslow Leach's piece of music. So a month goes by, and Winslow ends up going to Def Records, who is Paul Williams' character's record company, to follow up about his music, but he is then thrown out of there. So pretty much, Swan, Paul Williams' character, ends up stealing Winslow's music. So basically, Winslow tries to sneak into Paul Williams' character's private mansion he sees, these women rehearsing his music for an audition, and he meets this woman named Phoenix, who was played by Jessica Harper, who was an inspired singer, and William Finley's character Winslow deems her perfect for his music. So pretty much, basically, Winslow gets framed for drug dealing that was planted by Paul Williams' character. So he is given life sentence in Sing Sing, which is a prison, and we see that his teeth were extracted and his teeth were replaced with metal ones. So pretty much he hears this band called the Juicy Fruits, which we get introduced to at the beginning of the film, and he escapes the prison in a delivery box, and he breaks into the Def Records building. So as he breaks in, he's destroying the records and also presses, and we have also a record press. The record press ends up crushing and burns the right half of his face, and the press ends up destroying his vocal cords. So pretty much now his face is all disoriented and deformed, and that's when we get introduced to him being the Phantom, where he ends up going into the Paradise's costume department, and he dons this long black cape and a silver mask, which the costume looks really awesome. I like, the look of the mask where, the eyes, you could see, the eyes, Winslow's eyes through the mask, which I thought was pretty cool. And pretty much basically it's just Winslow as the Phantom terrorizing the Paradise, insisting that his music will only be performed by Phoenix, who is played by Jessica Harper. And pretty much that's basically what the plot to the film is about. But I thought William Finley, he did a good job portraying Winslow, the Phantom. This is a character that you feel bad for, with his music being stolen by Paul Williams' character. Paul Williams, using Winslow's music and everything could to try to, get his music to be performed by Phoenix, played by Jessica Harper. And also the way how the Phantom, talks. It's like this voice synthesizer. So that's basically how, the Phantom, ends up talking, through that. I thought Paul Williams as Swan, I thought he did a pretty good job portraying the villain. By the way, as the film begins, we get a voiceover. We get character development about Swan, Paul Williams' character. And it's narrated or voiced by Rod Serling. But pretty cool that they got Rod Serling to do a voiceover, telling us about the Swan character. You have also Garrett Graham, who plays Beef, who is this prima donna glam rock guy that Paul Williams' character replaces Jessica Harper's character because we had a scene where Winslow ends up agreeing to sign a contract because Swan asks Winslow to rewrite his cantata with Jessica Harper's character in mind for the lead of this music play. And so Winslow then agrees, signs the contract in blood, and then Paul Williams' character breaks the deal with that by telling George Moyle's character that he resents Jessica Harper's character's perfection for the role. And so he then went with Beef, who was played by Garrett Graham. So I thought Garrett Graham's character, was pretty funny. There's a scene where he ends up taking a shower and the Phantom comes into the bathroom. And so they reference Psycho, where the Phantom cuts through the curtain with a knife and then scares Garrett Graham. And the Phantom ends up putting a plunger to Garrett Graham's character's face and threatens to kill him. So I thought that was pretty funny how they referenced, Psycho there. But you have also Jessica Harper as Phoenix, which, she did pretty good in the role. She's a very good singer here, and pretty much, she's the love interest to Winslow, and pretty much also her character. We see in one scene where she's being seduced by Paul Williams' character in her dressing room, and then they plan to get married. So pretty much the Phantom, stops them from getting married because the Phantom ends up learning that Swan made a deal with the devil in 1953, and we see that, and Paul Williams' character Swan will remain youthful forever unless the videotape recording, because Paul Williams' character ended up making a videotape of this, so he will remain youthful forever unless that videotape recording of his contract got destroyed. And the tape ended up revealing footage of Paul Williams' character signing that contract with Swan, and then a new one Swan made with Phoenix, who was played by Jessica Harper. So the Phantom pretty much destroys all the recordings, and he headed off. And pretty much during the wedding, the Phantom ended up swinging onto stage, and he ripped off Swan's mask, because Paul Williams' character Swan was wearing a mask. And when the Phantom knocked the mask off, he saw Paul Williams' character, his face is all decaying, and it was live on television. And so Paul Williams' character attempted to strangle Jessica Harper's character Phoenix, but the Phantom then stabbed him repeatedly, and pretty much the Phantom's own stab would reopen, because there was a part where the Phantom ended up stabbing himself through the heart with a knife, and then Paul Williams' character ended up telling the Phantom that he cannot die until he himself has died. So pretty much, that was that. So pretty much at the end, Paul Williams ends up dying, which, also William Finley's character ended up dying. So, but overall, Phantom of the Paradise, it's a fun, film. I really enjoyed it. Got good, catchy music, and the directing from Brian De Palma was really good. There's a scene where, he's using a split screen where the Phantom ends up putting a bomb in this car to get revenge on Paul Williams' character, and we see, one side, the bomb, in the car, and on another side, you see it's the Phantom's point of view of, what's going on there. I thought that was cool. It's pretty much common in, some of De Palma's films, from what I've heard. You got, good POVs, also through the film. It's a very colorful film, with neon, colors. And just the acting was, very good from, the actors, characters. And it's a very 70s film. But if you haven't seen Phantom of the Paradise, it is a fun film. It's definitely worth checking out. The film did not do well when it came out. It received negative reviews, but over the years, the film got more positive reviews, and it is now a cult classic. And there's a little bit of trivia. Sissy Spacek was the film's set designer, which her boyfriend, who is now her husband, Jack Fisk, was the film's production designer. And of course, Sissy Spacek later went on to star in the role of Carrie, which was also directed by Brian De Palma. The film was financed independently, and producer Edward Pressman, screened the film to studios and sold it to the highest bidder, which that highest studio was 20th Century Fox, and it was worth $2 million plus a percentage. overall, Phantom of the Paradise, very fun film. Really liked it. It is worth watching. You know, the music is good, very catchy. I like the music at the end of the film where it's da 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 da. You know, I thought that was pretty cool. But check out Phantom of the Paradise. You know, it's an underrated Brian De Palma film. But anyways, that's it for my review of Phantom of the Paradise. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all later tonight with the SmackDown and AEW Rampage review. So, see you all later tonight.